Minglawa and welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Michelle with the recent news and reports from around Myanmar. Pyodharidu got the latest report on Pidawzuluto approved debt report representing the 2018 to 2019 fiscal year. David Tanner will give us all the details on Myanmar keeps paces with prevention of COVID-19 second wave. Thora Suizing has the details on 8,933 driver smart cards already issued by YRTA. Sesame has the full story on Myanmar expands rail transport service in use of urban and outskirt trains. All of these reports will be coming up on Myanmar Today, but for now, let's take a look at what's happening in local news. President U Win-myint said, "I wish to extend good wishes and matter for the good health and happiness of the Union Ministers, Chief Minister of Shan State Government, Speaker of Shan State Ludo, Minister of Shan State Government, members of Shan State Ludo, departmental officials, ethnic nationals, and senior executives, the Chino main electrical substation, the Mai Bin main electrical substations, and the transmissions of electricity from the national grid to Shan State East. Before, electricity was distributed in Shan State East using diesel generators and mini hydropower generators on a part-time basis. Now we can distribute electricity on 24-hour basis from the national electric power grid. Our union government has been working energetically for all-round development of the whole country. We have given special priority to build transportation networks, provide electric power, and providing drinking water. This is to elevate the socio-economic status of the people. In doing this, just as we are building transportation networks all over the country, we are also drawing up plans and implementing them to provide electricity. We have been implementing electric power generation projects to the building of main electric power grids and main electrical substation project every year using large quantities of money. Union Minister for Commerce Dao Damian, in his capacity as Vice Chairman of the Private Sector Development Committee, visited the Chamber Farm in Chamber Village, Shuibo Township in Sakai Region on Friday. Consumer Affairs Department Director General U Min-lun accompanied the Union Minister during the tour. At the farm meeting hall, they met local paddy growers. The farm deputy in charge, Dote Monue, reported the area, office buildings, the constructing seed center aided by JICA. They arrived the Two Elephants Power Loan Factory, a small and medium-sized enterprise. In Saikon village, the factory's owner Udot explained its operation with over 400 power looms. The union minister said that he would coordinate over the reported matters incorporating with relevant ministries and then inspected the factory's weaving works. The union minister and party also inspected the operations of manual looms at Bodegong village in Saikon village tract. At the meeting, the union minister urged the local business persons to increase manufacturing of cottons and fibers, saying that the ministry is easing restrictions to speed up the trading businesses. He also urged the business persons to try hard for exporting the value-added products. According to the sesame growers in Maghreb region, with the sesame damaged by lack of rain, the local sesame growers are less interested in growing up the sesame as they know they cannot expect a good price. A sesame grower from Leboji village said, quote, "We're not interested in the sesame market price and we don't have sesame to supply as well. The plants could not be grown again because time is over. We could not supply the sesame this year from our plantations." End quote. An owner of the Nyeman commodity in Maghreb region said the sesame price dropped in March. After that, the price of sesame is rising again after the water festival in April. Some growers destroyed their sesame plantations and came to buy the bean seeds to grow. They don't even ask the market price of sesame. End quote. The regional head of agriculture department said more than 100,000 of the sesame plantations can be adversely affected by the unpredictable weather. Now the Agricultural Land Management and Statistics is collecting the data of the damaged sesame plantations. During the coronavirus prevention and control period, about 3,886 YBS buses are being operated in YANGON region recently, according to a media conference held at YANGON Region Transport Authority. The number of passengers has significantly increased to 0.1 million in late July, said YRTA Joint Secretary Ula. 2 months after the outbreak of the global viral disease, the restrictions has been lifted and the number of passengers has increased again in May and June. Although the operations of YBS buses was reduced in the pandemic period, 88% of YBS buses are resuming their operation currently. At present, the universities and Yangon Airport are still closed, and the YBS buses operating those routes are still suspended. That's all with the local news. Now we'll move on to our first report. At the 9-day meeting of the 17 regular sections of the 2nd Pidu Luto, the officials from Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation, the Ministry of Transport and Communications, the Ministry of Electricity and Energy, the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry clarified and responded to the Pidaozu Luto Joint Public Accounts Committee finding its remarks on the debt report for the 2018 to 2019 fiscal year and comments from the Luto representatives.
The 9-day meeting of the 17th regular section of the 2nd Pidaozu Luto was held on 7 August 2020 in Naypyidaw. At the session, the officials from the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation, the Ministry of Transport and Communications, the Ministry of Electricity and Energy, and the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry clarified and responded to the Pidaozu Luto Joint Public Account Committee's findings and remarks on the debt report for the 2018-2019 fiscal year and comments from the Luto representatives. Ulato, Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation, responded to the report.
Before 1988, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation implemented 5 projects in total with a use of loan budget USD 8.922 million. Before 2010, the loan budget USD 72.766 million was received for the agricultural projects. Before 2016, the loan budget USD 1.477 billion were received for a total of 11 projects for agriculture, livestock and irrigation. During this second Luto session, the loan budget USD 529.387 million were received. The Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation is implementing a total of 29 projects with a loan budget of USD 2,088.982 million from foreign countries. Among them, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation completed 14 projects in total at a cost of USD 266.91 million. The rest 15 projects are being implemented with the use of USD 1,822.07 million. There is no incomplete project with the expired loan budget for the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation.
Utomyo, Deputy Minister of Transport and Communications, also reported on the comments.
The
Ministry of Transport and Communications received about US $0.954 billion as loan budget for 11 projects before 1988, and all of these projects were complete 100%. From 1988-1989 fiscal year to 2010-2011 fiscal year, 9 projects were completed with the use of the loan budget US $0.241 billion. From 2011-2012 fiscal year to 2015-2016 fiscal year, the foreign loan budget worth of $1.383 billion for 13 projects of 6 departments under the MTC. Among these projects, 4 projects have just completed and the rest 9 projects are under implementation. From 2016-2017 fiscal year to 2018-2019 fiscal year, the loan budget worth of $0.916 billion was received for 5 projects and the implementation of these projects are still in progress.
Dr. Tonai, Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy, clarified and responded to the remarks about the debt report.
ပြည်ပချင်းငွေနဲ့ဆောင်ရွက်ခဲ့တဲ့ 230 kV 132 kV နဲ့ 66 kV
The Ministry of Electricity and Energy received $6,115.175 million. About $4,030.507 million was spent on the implementation of the project and $1,047.649 million were repaid to the respective countries. $2,982.858 million are still left as debt. From 1988-1989 fiscal year to 2018-2019 fiscal year, 4 out of 5 projects of hydropower and the implementation of all 3 power plant projects were completed. From 2011-2012 fiscal year to 2018-2019 fiscal year, the 8 out of 9 projects for power lines and power plants have also been completed. From 1988-1989 fiscal year to 2018-2019 fiscal year, the implementation of all of the 7 projects for fertilizer factories and refinery were completed, and the 8 projects for distribution of electricity were carried out from 2011-2012 fiscal year to 2018-2019 fiscal year.
The report of the Public Accounts Joint Committee was submitted to the LUDO in order to seek the approval, and finally the budget report was approved by the LUDO.
That's the report on Pidangsu Ludo approved debt report representing 2018 to 2019 fiscal year. With the current circumstances of COVID-19 as it gradually turns into the recovery state of the first wave, what kind of initial prevention and precautionary measures has been made for the potential threat of the COVID-19 second wave? Our reporter David Tanner interviewed the Director of Health Knowledge Promotion Division and the voices of the people regarding to this topic.
As the state of COVID-19 circumstances has been varying day by day, national-level Central Committee of Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19, the expert predicts that the early lifted restrictions can cause the emergence of second-wave infections, which could bring the worst-case scenarios yet again. With COVID-19 asymptomatic cases have also been rising in the form, Dr. Tan Nai So, Director of Health Knowledge Promotion Division, added on more about how people should be well aware of these circumstances as well.
The majority of transmission that we know about is that people who have symptoms transmit the virus to other people through infectious droplets. But there are subsets of people who don't develop symptoms. And to truly understand how many people don't have symptoms, we don't actually have that answer yet. But some numbers indicate that it is possible for people not to show even if they get infected. In this case, we call those patients as asymptomatic COVID-19 infected person. As we can't really find out what their symptoms are, it is really difficult in controlling the likelihood of them being infected or not.
With the current circumstances of COVID-19 and as it gradually turns into the recovery state of the first wave, it's inevitable that we have to stock up again in facilities and essentials in each of the townships with appropriate equipment and necessities. With that being said, Dr. Tan Nai So also told MI Radio the current activities of expanding COVID-19 treatment, specialized areas and essentials.
We're working on right now to expand and open COVID-19 specialized treatment center in Daungji. We could expect some news regarding this around the last week of August. We are also prioritizing to launch the healthcare building in Lasio as well. All the necessary equipment are in stock for the building. So we are working on expanding those healthcare centers in 6 areas. Some areas have started running in better state, and some areas are also starting to give trainings to the healthcare practitioners respectively. Moreover, the suspected cases of COVID-19 have also significantly slowed down.
U Tay Nai, Region Little Representative from Takomute South Township, has also updated the current circumstances of COVID-19 activities and issues in its respective region. Let's find out.
In our township, the COVID-19 committee has currently been warning by each of the respective districts to be fully aware that the fight to prevent COVID-19 is not done yet. People are running their daily life. Some with following preventive health guidelines, and some still feeling in some parts of protecting themselves. There are also warning and announcement not to put face masks on the chin and to wear them properly daily with the loudspeaker.
I have also interviewed one of the residents whose name is U Tay Nai for his perspective on current issues of COVID-19.
In the first wave of COVID-19, we are all really worried as it has not only become epidemic but also evolved into pandemic state. But when we think about it, we can't just be afraid of these unfortunate turns of events. We may have to prevent the disease from the first place by wearing masks, washing hands, and following the guidelines of Ministry of Health and Sports.
According to the data released by the Ministry of Health and Sports, there are 360 confirmed cases in Myanmar, with 312 recoveries and 6 deaths until 8 p.m. of 9th August.
That's a report on Myanmar keeps paces with the prevention of COVID-19 second wave. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. After 1 year of issuing the driver smart cards, the YANGON Region Transport Authority has now already issued nearly 9,000 smart cards. The telematics devices are installed in YPS buses, from which we can transform the situations of the buses, and how the smart cards will work are going to give a report on the driver's way of driving.
In June of 2019, YANGON Region Transport Authority YRTA has issued the driver smart cards to YBS drivers to help inspectors scrutinize driver information easily. And now, 8,933 YBS drivers have already been issued with the driver smart cards, according to the YRTA. U Aung Nyinimo is the managing director of the YRTA, and he added more information.
Driver smart card အနေနဲ့8,933ဦးကိုထုတ်ပေးပြီးပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်။အဲ့မှာသက်တမ်းတိုးပြီးတော့
We have already issued 8,933 driver smart cards to the bus drivers. 1,170 have renewed the cards for the next year. The YANGON Bus Operator Control Room was established at the Traffic Control Center to monitor YBS buses. The YANGON bus operator is to monitor the buses through telematics system. Telematics system can transfer the information through telecommunications, which means we can perform the fleet management and know the emergency panic alert of the bus, its location, communication with the driver, and the record of accidents on black box data, speed, the hard braking, and accident alert. It is easy to manage the bus drivers systematically.
For the cases of driver driving over the speed limit for consecutive 60 seconds, the sound alert system will ring, and if he keeps driving over the speed limit, the control center will call the driver to warn the overspeed. If the drivers drive the bus without touching the smacker to the specific devices, the sound alert system will keep ringing, so the bus drivers have to definitely bring the smackers together with the license. At the current time, it is still on the stage of developing the YANGON bus operator system to be able to perform to the fullest capacity. Ula Ang, Joint Secretary of YRTA, also explained more.
It is widely adapted internationally to manage the buses through fleet management system and to manage the drivers through advanced technology. At the current time, it is still not possible for us to perform YANGON bus operator for the whole time buses are running. It consumes finance, technology, and experts to do so. We are cooperating with Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA for technology. We are striving to be able to perform real-time information step by step.
It has been 1 year since the driver's markers have been issued, and at present, it is being tested on the buses run by Bandula Transport Company Limited. Uwin Nai, director of Pyramid Transport Service of Bandula Transport Company Limited, also spoke to MI Radio.
The
YBS buses of our company are installed with the telematic devices. We can know where and when the buses stop and when they leave. The speed is also recorded, and now the YRTA issue the smart cards, and these cards have to be read with the card reader so that the alerting sound will stop. Telematics devices to monitor the bus, and the card reader will work to monitor the drivers. Card readers are installed in 9 YBS number 14 buses, based on the success of which the YRTA will do further installation.
Being controlled by the YANGON bus operator, the assigned drivers cannot substitute another one, like the drivers of previous bus service Matata did in the past. A driver of YBS bus also said,
In the smart card, the personal information of the drivers, such as NSC number, address and license number, are included so that if any cases of accident happen and the driver run away, it will be easier to catch the drivers. For me, I welcome this systematic control system.
According to the data of the YRTA, until the first week of August, about 4,000 YBS buses were run by 127 bus lines, carrying over 1 million passengers.
That's a report on 8,933 driver smart cards already issued by YRTA. Travel by train in the earlier stage of the COVID-19 outbreak was not much in Yangon, but later on, there has been an increase in the travel by train. With the aim of ensuring smooth and secure transport for the passengers, Myanmar Railway has expanded the rail transport service in the use of urban and outskirt trains. All the situations have not returned to the normal so far, but government offices and most of the company ones are back in operation. For that reason, the MR has placed special attention to the extension of the rail transport service, especially in the rush hours. It was reported by Sesame, Jenna, and Minton.
Travel by train in the earliest stage of the COVID-19 outbreak was not much in Yangon, but later on there has been an increase in the travel by train. With an aim of ensuring smooth and secure transport for the passengers, Myanmar Railways (MR) has expanded rail transport service in use of urban and outskirt trains. All the situations have not returned to normal so far, but government offices and most of company ones are back in operation. For that reason, the MR has placed special attention to the extension of rail transport service, especially in the rush hours. Utang Thai, Chief of Station Master of Yangon Railway, said,
The passengers have increased now more than the previous. During March, the number of passengers was about 100, Later, the restrictions have been gradually relaxed. The number of reported confirmed cases has become fewer. More urban and outskirt trains have been added to the rail schedule. There were only 20 train runs during the previous months, and then the number was reduced to 19 train runs. After that, the number jumped to 40 train runs, and now it has reached to 52 train runs.
There are 220 train runs in the urban and outskirt area previously. Starting from 29 March, 69 trains are being used. During the Dayton holidays and homestay periods, there were 2 runs for morning and evening from Loga, the same number from Mingladong and YRTA as well. Some offices were reopened on 20th April. Starting from 22nd April, a morning run and an evening run is being provided from YANGON to Loga, and the same run from YANGON to Tojanggale during rush hours. Dr. Dinjo, a train passenger, said,
I am to go to Taiji. When I take a car, I feel dizzy and so I take a train. We have to wait for the long when we take a train in the afternoon, and it is not okay with me. I have been at the station since 10 a.m. in the morning. In the past, I did not need to wait for long. As soon as I bought the ticket, I immediately got on the train and the train left. Despite such inconvenience, I take only the train because I feel dizzy. I have to wear the mask as a part of the preventive measures against the virus. I would like to suggest that more trains should be added to the afternoon train schedule.
During May, each run of urban and outskirt trains was added to the train schedule in the respective railroad sections of YANGON Insane Loga, YANGON Mingladong, YANGON Tojanggale YRTA, and YANGON Tanlien. The extension plan for the train runs depends on the travel of the employees. The MR gradually extended its train runs 1 month after another. In August, the train runs the MR extended has reached 52. Sesame, a train passenger, said,
I'm
from Ogan. In the past, our 2 sisters took the 1 p.m. train and we reached Ogan at about 3 p.m. Now, it is not easy to get the train ticket and the passengers have to wait for long. I have to take the car after the train, so my arrival to the home is late. Taking the train is okay with me. Previously, I did not go out, only now I go out and come to the downtown. No local transmission has been found in the country, and so I dare to come to the downtown.
Social distancing rules are more convenient on express trains, but the number of urban and outskirt trains have been reduced. More trains have been added to the train schedules, especially in the rush hours. The train passengers have to wear the masks, and they have body temperature measured at the entrance to the station. The responsible persons of the MR are handling these preventive measures, and the MR is planning to expand its rail transport service as well.
That's a report on MR expands rail transport service in the use of urban and outskirts trains. And that's all we have for today's report. And it's time to check on some international news here on Myanmar Today. Twitter Inc. found itself at the center of China tensions for holding preliminary negotiation about potential combination with TikTok, the Wall Street Journal reported on Saturday. The report said it was unclear whether Twitter will pursue a deal with TikTok, which would involve the video sharing app's U.S. operations. The selling of the TikTok's U.S. operations was forced by the Trump's administrative potential ban based on the decisions of Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States, citing national security concerns. Trump has said that TikTok must find a buyer for its U.S. operations by September 15 or face a ban. He issued an executive order on Thursday that would bar people in the U.S. from the transactions with the Chinese owners of the messaging app WeChat and short video apps TikTok. According to data from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, numerous prisoners in Texas federal prisons are fearing of their lives as coronavirus has been spreading around every corner of the jail. Nearly 75% of the inmates have tested positive for the virus. Outside the prison, 1 out of every 66 Americans have infected as the coronavirus case have topped 5 million, with more than 160,000 deaths, nearly a quarter of the world's total. The coronavirus has extraordinarily widespread in the U.S., White House coronavirus experts said last week. Since the infection rate is far to achieve a herd immunity in the country, and the federal government has done little to curb the spreading, it seems that President Donald Trump's recent move, like urging children to go back to schools and pushing for the economic reopening, will make the number of coronavirus cases surge continuously in the predictable future. China's trade industry will face an even more challenging global environment in the second half of 2020 as the sliding world economy further cuts down demand, protectionism practice continued to escalate, and supply chain encounter obstacles, said China Minister of Commerce Zhang Shan. The minister said China will launch comprehensive measures to stabilize trade entities and supply chains in the country and keep its major trade power position. According to Zhang, the World Trade Organization estimated that global trade will drop by 13 to 32% in 2020. In the first half of 2020, despite disruptions from the coronavirus outbreak and the imposed lockdown, China's trade still outperformed expectations, contributing to both domestic and international economic recovery. And that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for joining me on Myanmar Today. My name is Michelle. Wish you all have a very good day. See you next time.